give some other people a chance to join in on this broadcast, okay? Thanks so much. I appreciate it. I see one person's joined. Take your time, take your time. I'm just finishing up some notes, so no pressure to get started or anything yet. Got 5 more minutes according to my TikTok on this end. Hey, do me a favor, for those of you that have tuned in, invite some friends, if you don't mind. Go into your Twitter and Periscope lists and just invite some people to come and join us. I think it's going to be really, really fun for them. Very informative. And this is not just head knowledge, but it's going to really, really be, I'm going to offer some takeaways at the end that will really give all of us the opportunity to have some practical things to be able to use, okay? Making sure my lighting is okay here. Next Level Leadership Series, Part 1. 4 more minutes to go, everybody. 4 more minutes to go. 3 more minutes, everybody. 3 more minutes. Hey, good afternoon. How are you? Thanks for joining. Forgive me not being rude, everybody. I'm just typing a few more notes. I got on early because I'm just anxious, number one, but I just wanted to kind of provide everybody an opportunity to see that we were going live here. So y'all can sit tight for me for just another minute or two, and we get started promptly at 2 p.m. according to my TikTok. I show 2 minutes to 2 Eastern Standard Time. So thanks everybody for coming in and joining. Got some great stuff that I want to share. Hey, while I'm waiting, give me a shout out. I'm here in Baltimore, Maryland. Where are you guys watching me from? What country, city, states, whatever information you want to give? Anybody? Everybody? Somebody? Anybody care to share? I'm here in Baltimore. Okay, hey, how you doing? Nightmare has joined. My name is Nightmare. Has joined. Welcome to the broadcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I see some more people. The real Al Gotti has joined. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. I see our numbers climbing here. According to my TikTok, got 1 more minute. Hey, where are you guys from? I'm here in Baltimore. Where are you viewing me from? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Got another minute. Got another minute. Sweden, wow, from way across the pond. Thank you so very much. My name is Nightmare for joining me from Sweden. That is amazing. I really appreciate your time. Thank you. I'm looking at the clock here on my computer screen, and we're about to get this thing launched here in just a second. 2 p.m. Well, there we go, folks. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is James W. Falcon, and I am the founder of a collection of encouragement-based projects that I call Encouragement is Key. I had several experiences a couple of years ago, actually many years ago, that have contributed to why I've put together this series. I'll tell you about those in some detail in just a second. But just to give you a little bit of background on me that will help you kind of understand what and how I can contribute in sharing leadership related information. So I'm a call center professional, customer service professional by trade. I've been doing call center work for nearly 20 years now, actually more than 20 years, but when you combine it, thank you so much for joining. It's about 20 years or so. I've worked as a frontline telephone representative, a team lead, call center supervisor, call center manager, now call center director. I've been the director of various programs, for-profit, not-for-profit, non-profit, in faith-based settings, in businesses, and community organizations. I've had a chance to work in a number of different environments, most of which were production-oriented environments for the most part. So I'm going to bring that to you as background and experience. As it relates to insurance, I've done property and casualty, and I've also done medical and healthcare. I've worked on the side of the insurance companies as well as on the side of being inside of a hospital. Currently working for a college here in the Baltimore metropolitan area that I'm really excited about. A role that I've been in now for going into 7 months, so I'm really excited about that. Okay? All right, so here's the background. So years ago, I worked for a telecommunications company. I was an advertising sales rep. True story. I worked for this particular company at 2 separate times. The first time I worked for this particular company, I worked for an incredible man that we're just going to call Mr. Bell for the sake of this Periscope. Mr. Bell was a phenomenal manager. His team was the highest producing team in the region. He managed inside telesales representatives, of which I was, I think at that time, one of the newest members of his team. And I watched how Darren or Mr. Bell did some things, and he was amazing. And I'm going to come back to him in some detail, either in this particular broadcast or in the subsequent broadcast. Okay? I left being under Mr. Bell's management. I went into a nonprofit sector for an opportunity that I was really excited about. I did what I needed to do in that role for that nonprofit organization, came back to this telecommunications company. Thank you so very much for joining. When I came back, I was not under Mr. Bell's leadership. I worked for a woman, and I can't remember her name right now, who was a phenomenal woman. She just had a very different style from Mr. Bell's. And I'll tell you what her style was. Thank you so very much for joining. The difference being is that Mr. Bell's engagement of me and of his teams, thank you for joining, made the world of difference. Hey, how you doing? Thanks so much for joining. Made the world of difference for me in terms of my enthusiasm about the company. Thanks for the hearts. My excitement, the money I made. I was on course to, hey, good afternoon. Hello, how are you? I was on course to make 6 figures that particular time. I was only 6 months in. Under Mr. Bell's leadership, I was able to close one of the highest dollar amount sales. Talking about leadership today. I was able to close one of the highest dollar amount sales in my training class and at that particular time in the particular division that we were in. Thanks for all the hearts, y'all. Okay, not a problem. I appreciate it. Hey, keep the interaction going. It's not a problem at all. Thank you. Under Mr. Bell's leadership, when I left and went to the nonprofit organization and came back, I think it was a year and a half, 2 years later, under the new manager, I did very poorly. I appreciate you too. I did extremely poorly to a point where my tenure, my tenure was in jeopardy with the company. Okay? And I'll explain to you why those pieces are important to this once I get through the lesson. So, worked for a telecommunications company. This was pre the real dawn of the internet. Okay? And that's important too, and I'll tell you why. Worked for 2 different managers. One had a very hands-on, leadership, engaging style, and the other was very hands-off. Though she was a very sweet woman, she was extremely hands-off, and she only talked to you or engaged you about performance, thank you for joining, if and when you had a problem, only. Put a bookmark in that thought, and I'll come back to that in just a second. So here's what you can expect for this particular series, because I've broken this down. We're going to do this Periscope today, and we're going to do 4 others every Saturday for the next 5 Saturdays, okay? So today's topic is leadership. What is it? Next Saturday on the 13th, we're going to do leadership, what it is not, and we're going to talk about toxic tendencies. The week of February the 20th, we're going to do leadership obligations. There are some things that leaders need to do with their teams. Thanks for joining us. Then on the 27th of February, we're going to do leadership investments. There are things that I'm going to share with you from scientific research, evidence, and standpoints. Thank you for all the hearts. I try, yep. And I'm going to share with you those things so you can do those things as a leader and get the results that I've been able to enjoy as well. So those are obligations and investments. And then on the 5th of August, we're going to talk about you getting the return on those investments that will help to catapult you and your team performance-wise way ahead of plan, projections, and you and your team's expectations, okay? All right, so what I want to encourage you to do, if this is interesting enough for you, the textbook that I'll be quoting from was a textbook that I used when I was in college, when I got my master's in organizational leadership. And it's called Leadership and the Leadership Process. It's by 2 researchers, Pierce and Newstrom. I can't remember how much the book was, but I'm sure there's an online version at some point somewhere. But check that out, because that's what we'll be drawing a lot of things from. Now, as far as today's session goes, and each session, we're not going to be any longer than an hour. I'm going to do a hard stop at 3 o'clock, okay? If I'm done before 3, cool. If not, I'm going to do a hard stop. I'm going to put the emergency brake on, and we're going to do all the Batman tricks and things that we possibly can to stop the car at 3 p.m., just so you know. I want to value your time, okay? Unless you give me the impression that you're hungry for more, or we get a good, robust question and answer session, then I would do a hard stop at 3 o'clock, all right? Feel free to comment, give stars. I see people already doing that, which really is a blessing for me. It encourages me to keep going. Feel free to react to the subject matter throughout the course of the presentation. As you've seen, when people have put up different things, whether they're joining, whether they have comments, whatever they are, within reason and to a certain taste, I will respond to those out of respect, okay? Then for those of you that are Periscopers on a regular basis, you know how Periscope works. Typically and frequently, this thing drops for no particular reason. Or it freezes up. Or you can see me, but you can't hear me. We'll be talking about leadership. We'll be talking about leadership from the standpoint of things that you can actually do. If you are a leader and you have a group of people that report to you, I want to talk to you about things that you can actually do to improve the relationship with your team members and improve your overall team's performance. So if the broadcast drops, then I'll just, hey, no problem, thanks for joining. Then I'll just reconnect us, okay? Now, I'm sitting here in the living room in my home, and which makes me incredibly prone to a number of different things. What a child leader work? Not sure what that means. So everything we'll be talking about today will be geared toward adults and adult learning and adult leadership of adults to adults, all right? So because I'm here in my own home, we're subject to anything happening. Somebody could knock at the door. Anything could happen technically and outside of the sphere of what I'm scoping in this whole setup that I got going in my living room. And if anything strange happens and I get disconnected, I'll just simply reconnect, okay? So make sure that you follow me, if for no more than today, so in case we get reconnected, in case we get dropped, you'll know when I'm coming back online, all right? In terms of following me, do me a favor and go out to my Twitter page, and you can follow me, same name, James W. Falcon. I have a Facebook page called Encouragement is Key. Thank you for following. I'm going to follow you back. Matter of fact, I'm going to do that right now before I forget. Okay, all right, and bet. Okay, fantastic. All righty. Thank you. So those are the things to keep in mind in terms of how fragile this whole setup is, okay? So here's the purpose of today's broadcast. Thank you. So are you. The purpose of today's broadcast is to do this, to empower you with the information necessary for you to make the healthiest choices and decisions that you can possibly make for your team, and that you can do the things that are necessary to get the highest yielding results for your team and your team's overall performance. That's what today is. Let me do it again. Empower you with information necessary for you to make the healthiest decisions for your team and that you can get the highest yielding performance results overall for your team and for your team's outcomes. That's what I'm trying to do here. You know, as I was getting ready for the scope, I was kind of upstairs and I was, fumbling around, and I thought to myself, man, I'm about to go live in front of I don't know how many people, and thank you all for the continuous hearts. And I'm about to give y'all information that it took me 13 months. You be right back. Okay, we'll catch you when you come back. It took me 13 months to research this stuff and write a 100-page paper and spend tens of thousands of dollars to get. I'm going to give you guys this information free of charge over the next 5 Saturdays. And then I thought to myself, do I want to really do that? I mean, because I spent some money and some time, and I'm here in Baltimore. My classes were through a college that was based in Washington, D.C. So that was a 45-minute to an hour-long trip, 2 ways for 13 months. So there was a little bit of energy and effort exerted to be able to get this information. Do I want to really share that for free? Absolutely. So thank you for joining, okay? All right, so let me get started with the lesson now that we are 11 minutes in. So here's the situation, okay? Before I can get into what leadership is, I want to give you some background information. Now, when I got my master's, I was hairline deep in what's called empirical evidence. That's the scientific studies that were done that made me privy to the results that were necessary. So people actually conducted scientific experiments with all the bells and the whistles and the proper sign-offs and all. And when I wrote my thesis, I had to have at least 100 references to be able to do my paper. And I just totally geeked out because I'm that kind of a guy. So I want to tap into a vein of that leadership information for you to have and for you to enjoy, okay? So here we go. Go back with me in time to 1958. There was a man named George Homans. Listen to this, y'all. This is good geeky stuff, but it has some incredible relevance, and it'll be tools and things to put in your hand in terms of what you can do practically going forward. George Homans in 1958 wrote an article after doing some research, and the title of his paper was called Social Behavior, listen, as Exchange Relationships. Social behavior as exchange relationships. Basically, what George Homan did was this. He tried to figure out when human beings interact, what's the basis for them interacting? Why are they interacting? What's in it for them? Well, he first discovered that there were things that people were going after in their relationships with one another. And how he described it is, Homan said that the basis for why people interact can be best described using the economic principles of supply and demand. And what he said is when two people interact, there is a supply of something, and then there's a demand for something as a result of that relationship. When you think about that, that's incredibly powerful, especially in the information age, the technological age. Like, I get a lot of phone calls, and I'm sure you all do too. I get emails out the wazoo. I get text messages to my personal phone, which I cannot stand. And every other access point in my life, and I know you're there too, somebody's sending me some information. They're wanting to tell me about a new loan program, a new school program. They want me to sign up for this. They want me to do that. I mean, there's a lot of interacting that we do in 2016 than I did in 1975 or 1980, right? And it should be that way because we're all building and growing as technology grows and develops. The downside of that is when I meet different people who reach out to me in those ways, I can tell they're selling something because they're salivating, they're foaming at the mouth, and I know they want to get to me because they want something from me. And to be honest with you, I've been in sales, and I appreciate what they're trying to do for themselves and their family, but it irks the living heck out of me. You know why? Because automatically you know that they want something. It's not, hey, James, I just want to hang out with you because you're a decent human being. It's not, James, you seem to be relatively intelligent, and I think I want to tap your intelligence and your wisdom bank to see if you can help me. It's no, James, I want you to meet with me and I want to sit out and present something to you. I want to pitch something. And I get it. I've been there. Trust me. But in those relationships that I don't know the people, it's relatively rude, or at least it comes off that way. And I mean no disrespect to any of you that are in sales, because again, I'm in sales as well, right? That's what George Hohmann said in 1958. Now, in 1969, a gentleman named Walter Nord, N-O-R-D, took Hohmann's theory and he added some additional layers. And Nord in 69, 11 years after Hohmann's, he simply said he added to Hohmann's equation one essential ingredient, and that ingredient was conformity. Nord said that basically the basis for our interactions with each other as human beings is a need, a desire, a sincere desire to conform. We want people to know that we're about the team. Thank you so much for joining. We want people to know that we are part of the organization. We are, quote unquote, towing the company line. That's what Nord said in 1969. I don't think there's any need to explain that. You all get that. You know, I was a part of a fraternity. I am a part of a fraternity. And, you know, the whole process that you go through helps you to appreciate the colors of the fraternity. And it helps you to be a big fan on the principles of the fraternity and on the demeanor of the guys in the fraternity. You want to be a part, and you're longing to be able to put your letters on for the first time with your fraternity colors. You're longing to want to do that. So it's about conformity. I get it. If you're the newbie in a shop on the job, you want desperately to prove yourself so you can be one of the guys or one of the team members. Not because you are psychologically weak, but because that's just thrilling. So at any one of my employees may have a dozen or more certificates in multiple performance areas. And that is exciting. I'll tell you about that later. Okay? All right. I'm going to talk to you in future broadcasts about a powerful thing that I've been using that was modeled to me in front of me by two extraordinary leaders, and I'll give them some shouts out on the later broadcast. Thanks for joining. But it's called the walk and talk. It's called the walk and talk. Do walk and talks with your folks. That means that you get out of the office, walk down the hallway, go get a soda, go to the water cooler, go get a candy bar, take them to lunch, just walk the campus or the hall, get out of wherever it is you typically do business and walk, right? And just casually walk and talk. I'm going to tell you the value of that in just a second. Now, for aspiring leaders, here's your takeaway. Please understand that leadership has very little to do with your individual performance. It's not how good of a data entry person you are. It's not how good of a phone call taker, quality person that you were. That has no bearing on leadership. Leadership, your salt as leadership, thanks for the hearts, is based solely on your ability to interact with a group of people. I was a job recruiter at one point in time. I was a training consultant. I've been in a number of roles in my life, past and present. And I sit in front of people who are bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, especially those right out of college, or they've had one, maybe two jobs that they've held for very short lengths of time. And I talk to them. They apply for a leadership position, and I say to them these things. Tell me about a time when you had a goal and objective and you got your team to meet that goal. And they go, well, I can tell you what I did was I did and I got these awards for. No. I don't want to know about your individual performances. I want to know about the quality of the engagement you had on a group of people and how you motivated them toward the goal. That's leadership. Aspiring leaders understand that. It has everything to do with your interactions with your team members. Hey, listen, this is James W. Falcon, and this has been part one of my series that I've been doing. Part one of my series that I've been doing that's called Next Level Leadership. Because what this is all about is not just leadership on a superficial level. This is next level stuff. This is stuff that will take you and your teams to some levels that you've never even realized, never even thought were possible, never even thought you and your team could accomplish. So let me put a period right there. Obviously, I'm a talker and I can go for hours. I wrote my master's thesis on this, and I actually wrote a book. Your poetry is great, but this is definitely on another. Hey, thank you. You know what? Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I was intending for this to do just that. It's not that I'm going to change my focus, but I'm really developing these leadership pieces because I think this is so important. I think it's going to have incredible value. Like the person said that just sent me that text, which I'm incredibly appreciative for, your time and that text. I'm an author and a poet. I write poetry. I perform poetry. As a matter of fact, if you go out to my YouTube page, James W. Falcon, you'll see where I've started a series called Seasons of Storytelling, where I perform some of my poetry live right here on Periscope. Passionate about it, but you're absolutely right. I was intending for this leadership series to just take people to a different level, pouring out of my heart, using some different chambers. So thanks so much for that. Any questions or comments? We got a solid 8 minutes here. Hey, y'all, technically speaking, on my end, it looks like my phone's display has dimmed. Can you guys see me okay out there? I'm hoping that technically, because this is a relatively new phone, and I'm hoping that everything is clear. Hearts, are we clear? Can you guys see me? I'm hoping. Okay. All right. So any questions? I see hearts. Okay, good. I'm taking that as a yes. Don't forget, every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard, we've got 4 more of these to do. And then I'm going to package these at the end and provide them to you in some kind of shape, form, or fashion. Any questions or comments at all? What time and date will you be doing these sessions? These sessions for leadership will be every Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And they'll be from 2 to 3 p.m., okay, each time. No, never any more than an hour, okay? And then just for your edification and everybody else's information, in the event that you don't get a chance to catch the live broadcast, for a small period of time, I'm going to have each one of these individually posted out on my YouTube site. You'll see the links from my Twitter page. If you want to follow me on Twitter at James W. Falcon. Or if you want to go to my Facebook page, if you're a Facebooker, my Facebook page is called Encouragement is Key. You don't have to like it if you don't want to be connected in that way, but you can find it out there. You'll find the links to these broadcasts. Is that cool? Okay. I appreciate it. Any other questions or comments? Anything about the structure? Anything about the material? Anything that you didn't get? Anything you want me to do more on? So we got 7 more minutes. We got plenty of time. Listen, I want to also invite you leadership is a process and relationship requires investments, walk and talk. That's it. Man, I love those notes. I'm going to need those back from you. That's good stuff. Listen, I have an email address, encouragement-is-key-2013. Encouragement-is-key-2013@gmail.com. Yes, thumbs up to you, my friend. If you have any questions or comments, you liked X, you didn't like Y, I'm too loud, I'm not loud enough, you got too much light going on, whatever. You want to see me sitting instead of standing, whatever the case may be, questions or comments, I feel like my shoulders are broad enough to be able to take anything, positive or negative, however you want to give it. The point is, let's engage, and you're welcome to shoot me an email regarding these broadcasts, my poetry, anything else, always at encouragement-is-key-2013@gmail.com. Okay, it's 2:54. Any more questions, comments? Anything else? For those of you that read John Maxwell and some of the other leadership, thank you so very much. Jose Año, 24, thank you so much. That is, I can't tell you how encouraging that is. I really appreciate that comment. Wow, that's blown me away. I forgot what I was actually going to say. 5 more minutes left, everybody. Check me out. The network that I'm building, it's growing. It's growing by leaps and bounds. When you go to my blog page, Encouragement is Key, at blogspot.com, right? When you go to my blog page, at the top of it, you'll see it says 3 things. It says providing and promoting encouragement for individuals, for couples, and for leaders and teams. I have been doing the individual and the couples piece for some time now. It's been the leaders and teams piece that I needed to really bring to life, and this is helping me do that. So this is a kind of a dual launch. It's fulfilling the 3rd part of our mission statement and purpose, and then it's also launching this particular series, and I'm really hoping that the skies are the limit. Since you don't have any other questions, let me just take 4 more minutes, if you don't mind, and give you some infomercial kind of information. Okay? So tomorrow I'll be doing the 5th part, the last part of a series that I've been doing called Life Coaching Lessons. Thank you. Life Coaching Lessons from Snow Removal. We got dumped on a couple of weeks ago with the blizzard, which provided the deepest snowfall that we've had since 1928 in this region. And it was a mess. I'm sure those of you familiar with how deep snowfalls are. So as I was shoveling out my backyard this past Sunday, I thought to myself, people die from shoveling snow. Maybe if I can provide some helpful hints and draw some life coaching lessons from just something as simple as shoveling snow, maybe that'll be helpful. Because that's what I try to do, is think about what works for me, try to encourage myself, and then, hey, if there's anybody out there that feels like the information that I am talking out loud about might be helpful, more than willing. So I'm doing the last broadcast tomorrow morning. It'll be about 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll be wrapping up that series. That's the 5th part, because I tend to try to work in 5s, right? On Wednesday of this week coming, and Wednesday is, I forgot, what's today? The 6th, so Wednesday's the 10th, somewhere around there. Whatever date this coming Wednesday is, I'm going to be doing a special series. One of the first times that I've stepped back out there doing anything relationship-based. I'm a heterosexual male, so when I talk about relationships, I talk in the context of male to female, not to disclude or say anything about my brothers and sisters out there that have sexual orientations that are different from mine, not at all. But I talk in male-female context, right, for those reasons. But the information I'm going to be sharing is universal. And I'm going to be talking about some of the things that men find really irksome about women. But I'm going to do it professionally. I'm going to do it respectfully. But I'm going to let my hair down. I typically don't use foul language on these kinds of broadcasts. But it'll be funny, it'll be upbeat, it'll be lighthearted, but then there'll be those serious moments as well. So join me, check out the Facebook page, because I'll have more details about that launch, and we'll probably do that once a week on Wednesday night. So got a ton of things. There are 2 more life coaching lessons that I'm going to be doing as well, 2 more series. One of them is going to be finding your wow works, W-O-W, your wow works. Like, what are you working on right now that just makes you wow? You remember when we were kids in elementary school, and we liked science and math and all that jazz, some of us, but we couldn't wait to get to recess, right? Remember those days? You broke through the door, and it was finally to get outside the building and to smell the open air on the yard or in whatever field and situation you had in school. Well, that was a wow works, right? That's what we really wanted to do. We wanted to play. So it's important for you to have wow works in your life. Do you have any? And then there are a couple more series that I want to do as well. It's 1 minute to 3, everybody. Listen, this has been James W. Falcon, founder of Encouragement is Key, author, poet, performer of poetry, leadership enthusiast, performance improvement enthusiast. Hey, my friend, thank you so much for everything that you've shared. You and all of you have blessed the socks off of my feet. Until the very next time. Ha-ha, you like that one? You remember that one? Remember that one? Until she's talking about a poem called Voodoo that I did. Until next time, I'm going to leave you with these 3 words, and it's how I close out every broadcast, every book, anything I'm ever doing. Hey, whatever you're doing, however you're doing it, get, be, and stay encouraged the entire time. I'll see you the next time around, hopefully very soon. Take care, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your weekend.